We are finally back! And the first question that I had when I started recording this video was, can I achieve perfection in my second year of Stardew Valley? I actually have never ever done this, so it seemed like an appropriate challenge for a somewhat knowledgeable player like me. This is actually part 2 of my full playthrough trying to achieve perfection and do literally everything. So if you haven't already, I recommend checking out my first 100 days video. Achieving perfection in Stardew is one of the hardest, yet more rewarding things you can do in the game. It includes befriending everyone, cooking every single dish, and more. I will be talking about these requirements as we progress, but I also wanted to remind you that I'm also working towards a set of personal goals that allow me to explore everything that the game has to offer, including finding every single hat in the game. As of the end of the last video, we made it to 21. So we will see if we can get closer to this and all of the other goals I have. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up 1,000 times, let's get right into it. Day 101, I put away my portrait of a mermaid, picked up some roe from my colored fish ponds, and I was so happy to remember I had these. This is one of those personal goals I have, collecting all of the different color fish ponds. So far I have 6, only 5 more to go. I did more of my daily chores at the farm and got overwhelmed at the massive empty field I had to work with. As a reminder, I am still going strong in my coffee empire, making loads of coffee every single day. I checked on what I still needed to do to obtain mastery, and it looks like I only need combat. While on the mountains, I commissioned another coop from Robin. Marlon said good evening like a whole gentleman, and I checked on my monster eradication goals. I still had a lot to work on. Then I headed to the quarry mines because I wanted to get myself the golden scythe, and lucky me, I also got a combat book, just in time. I forgot that you can just touch the statue to return to the top, silly me, so I walked out of there. Then, back at the night market I was. I made sure to get my Lupini original, chatted with the rest of the people, got myself some coffee, and before going to bed, I did a little bit of mining and combat. The next day, Evelyn sent me a whole chocolate cake on the mail. And then I found out that I was going to play Secret Santa to Leah. I checked on my pending quest, since I had a lot on my list, where I was reminded that I needed to go to the secret woods to look for hardwood. I completed a quest for Clint, then I went home to make some monster musk, so that the mine dives would be way more effective. I came here to try to level up my combat and also work on some monster eradication goals. I eventually completed a goal for one, and then got an infested floor, so that was rad. I worked until it was getting late and went home. Day 103, I realized I had a couple of Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Thick books on my chest, so I read them, and got the boost I needed to get to level 10 combat. I had finally maxed out all my skills. Now, just assume I came to the secret woods every day, okay? I stopped by Krobus to get an iridium sprinkler. I will do this every Friday for a while. Then I stopped at the saloon to complete Gus' omelette quest, and he hinted at me that Emily is happy with me. So cute. And from helping him, I got an apple sapling. Since Marcelo was in town, I got myself the Way of the Wind Part 2 book, and now I run even faster. I finally started working on organizing my farm by planting that sprinkler I had and planting some powdermelon seeds. Then I realized that my points for mastery were already counting, even though I had not entered the room yet. Then back at home, I checked on my achievements tab to see what things I had not shipped yet, and worked on that. I still have a long way to go. I also made some beet seeds from the beets I had on the chest and planted them in the greenhouse. I wanted to unlock the casino sometime soon. Overnight, I picked the Defender profession at level 10 combat, the last one I would have to pick. The next day, I got a whole fridge on the mail, which is completely normal. And my new coop was finally ready. While hoeing a spot in the farm, I got this super cute bear as decoration. I stopped at Marnie's to get 2 rabbits. I named them Legolas and Arwen. Then I finally made it inside of the Mastery Cave. I carefully read the letter Grandpa left me. I was so happy to start working on this. I then headed to Ginger Island. I started to clear a bit what was going to be the island farm, and a major place for production, since here is where my ancient fruit empire was going to grow. I played some Simon Says with this gargoyle to earn a few more golden walnuts, and kept my golden walnut hunt. I went back to the valley and placed my ocean crab pots, since I still needed a few fish from crab pots to catch. Then, I had one of the funnest cutscenes where everyone gathers together to taste a giant omelette. Shire eggs. And before I went to bed, I made sure I stopped by Cindersap Forest to finally fix this tree. Collecting wood every day was going to pay off. While doing my morning chores the next day, I came across a message that said a baby lizard had hatched. So I named my first ever dinosaur Gandalf. He won't grow as much as the one on Skull Caverns, but that's okay. I took the time today to finally fix the atrocity that had happened when my fences broke down. Then I headed to town to open some mystery boxes that had random food. Then I was able to donate 5 more things to the museum. I needed to finish this for perfection because of a star drop, so I was a little nervous about this. But I have been getting other rewards along the way, like rare crows and coffee. Then I spent the rest of the day cutting wood, like there was no tomorrow. But of course I planted the trees back, oh my goodness. I care about the environment, okay? Not just the stacks of wood. Once there was no more room for anything to be planted, I headed home. The raccoon had also finally moved in and immediately requested for some snails and a smoked midnight carp. Really fancy. Day 106 was a busy day. I first commissioned yet another fish pond from Robin. Then I had Clint upgrade my trash can. After warping to the beach, I headed to Ginger Island. My main goal was to get to the top of the volcano. No make friends, no find walnuts, just the top. For some reason, I really struggle with the volcano. Maybe it's because there are a ton of labyrinths and the need to use the watering can is insane. I made it to floor 5 and came prepared with enough diamonds to buy the Diamond Hunter book, another power learned. Then I also got myself the first new hat of this video, the pink bow. It is the first one and I already freaking adore it so much. I am a little blind idiot because not once but twice I completely ignored 2 of the magical chests because I was so stressed out about getting to the top. And a little bit after 9 PM I made it. I was so happy. I got more walnuts and another prismatic shard, but most importantly, I opened the way from the bottom so I could come here whenever I wanted to. The next day I did some chores around the farm and got ready for a Skull Caverns dive. First I stopped at Leah's to see her hammering and give her a birthday gift. Then I traded some rubies for some spicy eel and headed down. Even though it is definitely a struggle, I love Skull Caverns. It really is one of my favorite parts of Stardew. I also wanted to get as many serpents as I could because I really wanted the reward for the eradication goal. I worked hard until I passed out at floor 79. Day 108 I got a visit from Leah where she gave me a cute statue. My inventory was full from the dive last night that I had to toss things on the floor. Robin had finished another fish pond, so I put in a blobfish. I know it doesn't change the color of the water, but I need one of just normal blue, and this one has a chance of producing pearls, which I will need many of for my personal goal of gifting every single villager their love gifts. And because I have no limits, I immediately commissioned another fish pond from Robin. After moving some fish ponds around, of course. This is the setup that I was actually going to have for them. In case you're wondering what fish I'm planning to put in this pond, well, I went today to catch the mutant carp, the all-year-round legendary fish. Easy peasy. Then, because I was already here, I stepped in the mutant bog layer and catch myself a slimejack. Not only I need to catch it for completion, but this one will also be put into a fish pond. I spent the rest of the day fishing. First I got a largemouth bass that I then took to dinner with Jody and the fam. I stepped into the saloon and Willie told me I smelled like fish. But at least I gave him the squid he asked for. Then I headed to the mountains to fish some more, but had the misfortune of having this cutscene with Linus. If you have ever watched it, you surely know why I don't like it. So I learned how to make wild bait, among other things. It was very, very late at night, but I took the time to put some milk out for Santa. To what? He left me a Christmas present. I put on the Santa hat for the festivities. I picked up those beads I was going to need later and got a new level of understanding. Exciting! But not as exciting as saying hi to everyone and having a nice community Christmas meal. Leah was so happy about the gold quality goat cheese I got her. Then, wonderful Sebi got me an emerald, which I found so sweet. Before going to bed, I made sure to stop by the mastery cave, and after some thoughtful consideration, I went for the foraging mastery. Day 110 started by struggling to water Balrog's bowl. Then, I placed those beets I had been preparing into the Major's fridge, which opened a new task. So I headed to the desert and gave this pile of bones its last meal, a solar essence. Since I was already here, might as well go into the mines, right? Nothing fancy happened. I just finally got a note from Mr. Key to see him at floor 100. So this dive became serious. On floor 75, I had a chest where I found the red cowboy hat. We're just making great progress here, don't you think? Despite all of my efforts, I just made it to floor 90 before passing out. The next day was way calmer, since I had a lot of things I needed to do at the farm. I gave the mutant carp its own fish pond, and added little signs for all of them. So pretty. Then I had Robin made me yet another fish pond, after I also moved some buildings around, including my whole house. We can do this now since update 1.6. Pretty cool, huh? I also finally picked up my trash can and immediately had it upgraded again. Then I spent the rest of the day working on monsters. At some point, I even put some monster musk on to be extra efficient. After a little while, I got my monster goal completed. So I went to visit Gil and Marlon and got a few rewards, like the burglar's ring that I've been desperately after, and another hat, the hard hat. Now I would be safer, I guess. Also, because I had full inventory, I just left a bunch of junk at their place. Oopsie. Before going to bed, I stopped at the quarry really quick, and I am glad I did, because I got a whole prismatic shard. On day 112, I headed to the desert right away. I needed to get more staircases straighted, since it was Sunday. Every time I come to the desert, I also make sure to give something to Sandy. And I also got some rhubarb in preparation for the spring coming up. I spent some of the day getting ready, by making sprinklers and selling things. I also stopped by Emily to give her a gift which unlocked the Best Friends achievement. And since I was here, also helped Haley with a jar. Silly girl. Then I headed to Ginger Island. Here, I finally met Leo, officially. What a sweetheart. Since I was here, I wanted to make sure I got all of the Ginger Island fish. So I got a few golden walnuts, a lionfish, and a blue discus. I also placed a sprinkler in the farm and got some bee houses down. In the worst possible placement, I knew it was late, but I wanted to do some volcano time. I needed to find walnuts and work on some monsters. It was a fine run, but when I knew it was almost 2 AM, I teleported home and headed to bed. Another good year in the valley. It is so exciting to start my second year. We are going to get a lot of things done. The second I stepped out the door, Leah was ready to ask me out. Just kidding, it was her art show, but she obviously has a crush on me.
Why are you so obsessed with me?
2 seconds later, Kent was there too, to introduce himself. What a rad dude. Then, time to work on the farm. I cleared the weeds and debris formed and let my animals out. I had a lot of sprinklers, but nothing was organized, obviously. The hardest thing was to hoe everything around. I am also a perfectionist, so if things didn't look great, I spent time fixing it. At 2 PM, I barely started watering, so I took a break to go to get more seeds. I was stressed about how many seeds to get, but figured everything could get used. Since it was a Monday, I also picked the community cleanup quest from Linus for the fiber seeds recipe. And it was late enough that I also got to start the art show. Look at her blush. You can't tell me she doesn't love me. Leah, I love you, but I don't have any time. I need to go and plant my crops. So then back at the farm, I rushed to get done as much as I could. Like if you know how stressful the first day of the season is. 6:30 in the evening and I had just started watering. Amazing. Finished super late but still had time to put my Christmas tree away. Day 114 I got marriage advice from Louis from all people, and then Emily invited me to go camping. Exciting. After collecting some roe, I placed a slime jack on a fish pond. So close to completing this goal. Lo and behold, my piggies are digging truffles. This is one of the biggest sources of money. Despite all my stress yesterday, the field looks amazing today, don't you think? Then I went to town and got even more cauliflower seeds because I needed them to work in another major project. And went to replace the bait on the ocean crab pots. I still need a few fish from here, but this takes time. I planted the cauliflower seeds in this oddly specific place because, again, I am a perfectionist and I would absolutely love if this is where my giant cauliflower grows. Time will tell. After using one of the most inconvenient ways to move chests, I did some organization on my chest area, which was much needed. Also, not to brag or anything, but look at all this money.
Here comes the money.
The next day you would find me hand watering my cauliflowers. Why didn't I put a sprinkler here? I don't know. But I did some chores on the farm and planted some flowers because why not? To the surprise of absolutely no one, I got yet another fish pond build. Can you believe that? Oh, and I moved my shed of place again. And also my greenhouse. Picked up my watering can and then headed to the desert. I purchased a ton of starfruit seeds today. I tried to get to Ginger Island today but couldn't catch Willy. So I just changed the crab pot bait again. So to cope with my disappointment, I stopped by the mouse hat shop and got myself the polka bowl. Very cute. Since I was here, it seemed appropriate to try to catch the goby that you can only find in the waterfalls. Took me a couple of hours, but I eventually got it. Emily's camping trip took more than one night because I was still able to find her tonight. We got all cozy under the stars until my friend, the bear, showed up and we had the perfect excuse to get inside. And we ended up sharing a sleeping bag. Yeah. And then the tent just shakes.
Does it?
Yes, it's shaking.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, like, you don't hear anything. Nothing is happening. Just the tent just goes. No, it's not like Linus. Oh my gosh. Yes, finally, the secret bundle got unlocked. Oh my gosh. Emily seemed happy that the bear showed up. I will have to thank him for that later. My carrots were ready, so I made more into seeds. Kent told me I probably knew some better than him, which is so sad. So to cheer him up, I gave him those roasted hazelnuts I got almost a year ago for his birthday. It is the thought that counts. Then I stopped by the beach to talk with the old mariner and purchased a mermaid's pendant from him. I had someone special in mind. Then I went to the desert, where I traded some of the prismatic shards I had gotten for a magic rock candy. This makes skull cavern dives way easier. The spirits were happy today, so I had the goal to make it to floor 100. I started the day pretty late though, but I did get a prismatic shard back. By 7 PM I was just at floor 54, so it seemed unlikely I could make it. Nevertheless, I pressed on. I was really lucky, I must say too, and didn't struggle as much as I usually do. It was 1:30 and I got a shaft that got me to level 95. So, because I had made it this far, I used some staircases and got to Mr. Key at level 100, just a few seconds before 2 AM. Say what you want, I am still proud of my effort, okay? I drank some weird milk before going to bed, just on floor 101. The next day I watered my cauliflowers again. Please grow big, okay? I collected some parsnips and garlic and removed the sprinklers I had. I checked on the raccoon that still wanted the same things, and the traveling cart had a midnight carp. I obviously bought it so I could smoke it. I also stopped by Krobus to get another iridium sprinkler and gave him a horseradish that he loved. I also planted a rare seed I bought earlier. I then looked for Emily, who was at the community center, and lucky me, we are getting married. I was also surprised to see we could kiss now. But anyway, time to hustle. I came to Ginger Island in the pursuit of more walnuts and fixing the farm. I placed some sprinklers and, besides loads of starfruit, I also planted some wheat, a melon, and a garlic for my friend the Froggy. I don't know why I thought my time would be best spent by fishing at 1:50 a.m. I mean, I even lost my fishing treasure chest, rip. But with the money I made overnight, I got the millionaire achievement. Pretty cool. The next morning, after doing some chores on the farm, I got myself the club card, finally. I made some more garlic seeds and installed another sprinkler in the main farm setup. Then I stopped at Robin's, who hasn't built me anything in a while, and asked her for a deluxe barn upgrade for my piggies. Then I came to the mines and worked on Linus's trash quest, by fishing as much trash from the red water floors as I could. It is not lava because we know what lava looks like, and Tomb Raider 2 has something very similar. I think that this is how this floor would look if it looked a bit more realistic. Pretty cool, huh? After a few hours, I started to feel exhausted, but at least I got all the trash I needed. On my way out, I got one more of the rare crows I needed, and I stopped by Marlon's to check on my monster slaying progress. I walked through the growing forest at the train station and realized I didn't have enough trash yet. Like, I must have collected trash somewhere else. So back at the mines I was for round 2. It only took me a Joja Cola and a couple more casts to complete it. In town, Sebastian said that he loses focus too fast. Maybe coffee would help? Good thing I carried some with me, am I right? And I had to come to the ocean to replace my crab pot bait, and I'm glad I did, because we finally have all the ocean fish we needed. So I moved them to a pond by the farmhouse, cause that way is way harder to forget about them. Day 119 was a special day. I learned how to make pizza, I learned the recipe for fiber seeds, and it was raining, which meant I got some seafoam pudding from my fridge and set myself to catch the legend. I got here later in the day, and even though it was a little rough, it was nothing like the other fishes I have catched anyway. It is on my pocket now, meaning I had all the legendary fish. Later that night, I gave him his very own fish bun. One more down. While harvesting some coffee, I got a new level of understanding. I got loads of things to harvest today, and I just thought of mentioning that I do process most of my goods. I bought and planted more rare seeds, and after thinking about it carefully, I picked the Farming Mastery, which granted me an iridium scythe. I was so excited about this. At the mouse shop, I got myself the watermelon band. No reason, I was just in the area and hey, one more hat, right? I made a stop at the train station to get more wood and seeds planted. I spent the rest of the day working on the shipment of things I still had not sold. And the next morning, Emily and I were wedded at the wedding today.
Rebecca and I are getting wed at the wedding today.
I should have dressed better. I literally have a veil, but oh well. Well, we can't forget about the farm. Time to get to work. I checked on how my relationship tab was, because that is another thing I need to figure out for perfection. I also worked on crafting some things, like a loom and an oil maker. When I headed to the mountains, Linus, yet again, surprised me in unexpected ways. Silly guy. I came here to have Robin upgrade my shed. I was going to need something big. I also bought a few things from her for the house and a bunch of recipes. I spent the rest of the day gift giving to anyone I came across that I was not still in hearts with. While I was visiting the Molners, George told me all about his condition, a really sad story. I installed the things I got from Robin, and now I have a whole setup ready. I was feeling decorative, so I made a path in the animals area. I really liked how it turned out. Late at night, I came to Cindersap Forest looking for fiber and moss for a special statue. Day 121, my farm crab huts had caught me a crayfish, which meant I was done with catching those fish for now. Today, I crafted and planted a mystic fruit seed. I didn't know much about it, but I wanted it to grow fast. In town, I finally talked with Kent about the war memento, which meant I talked to Gus. And for now, this is all I did about this. From completing quest, I had gotten a ticket, which granted me the Friendship 101 book. Now all I need is the will to make friends. I was lucky to get the Curious Substance quest today. It is needed for crafting recipes and not that hard to complete. Cleaned opened a few mystery boxes for me and got bombs and seeds.
I mean, it's alright, like...
My lava eels finally got the bomb they wanted. Look at them go! I then went to the mines looking for bat wings. They are part of the recipe for monster musk and I was short on that. And also to find the ectoplasm. No, I absolutely didn't forget about it and was reminded once I was here and got it. Late at night I came to clear the quarry. Sometimes it just has to be done. The next day Emily gave me a bean hot pot for breakfast. Thank you so much. I might give this to Demetrius. I am seriously in love with the iridium scythe, and my shed has finally been upgraded. I brought the ectoplasm to the wizard and I noticed he had some marriage dialogue. Interesting. And you know that if I was at Cindersap Forest, I had to stop by and get a hat. This one is cute. I gave Vincent a snail, because he likes them somehow, and unlocked the achievement Popular. It has been a long time, so today I went to Ginger Island. There were many things that needed to be done. The most important thing was helping Professor Snail out of the cave. Finally. I immediately visited him at his tent to donate whatever I had. I always struggle to finish this, but not this time, Snail. Not this time. Then to the volcano I went. I do not like it very much, but it had to be done. There's so many walnuts hidden behind monsters and rocks, so I had to. I didn't know it then, but the mini obelisk was going to be life-changing. I stopped by the dwarf's shop to buy some bombs and was reminded of how expensive they are now. Like, what is this? I even tried to make them myself, but I am still not sure of what is worse. I gave the rose to Sandy, finally, and she gave me a remote. Then I finally entered the casino. I am not going to dwell on the technicalities for YouTube reasons, but let's just say I did what needed to be done and was really lucky. So I could get the alien rare girl, the top hat, one more to the list, and all of the farm word totems I could get. I won't be back here again because I got everything I needed. It was a Thursday, so I did the magic rock candy trade and then headed down to the mines. I am getting better at Skull Cavern every day. I am almost never struggling anymore. Don't get too excited though. Today I only made it to floor 43 before I decided it was not worth it for me to pass out today. The bookseller was in town today, so I got another book that granted me a power. Yes. Now I was even faster. I had a super cute interaction with Alex. You gotta love the relationship that he has with his grandparents. Oh, and it was a Friday, so you know I had to stop to get my sprinkler. There is no way I am spending batteries on this. I took the remote to George, who took it gladly, the shard to the wizard, who in return gave me a literal worm. But Willie sure liked it. So, since I had the locket already, I had him take me to Birdie to finally learn how to do fairy dust. Oh, and I almost threw up because of the locket smell. With the walnuts she gave me, I was able to repair the island house. It was empty. I found this shirt on the ground and wore it while I prepared the land and planted more starfruit seeds. I also planted some terra tubers because I do not have to care about them, it's just easy money. I went to bed on my new home. I hope my wife doesn't mind. Day 125 I visited the froggy, since I woke up in the island. I didn't have my crops ready, but I could fish. So I got a few walnuts and the cutest frog hat. Look at it. Then I went back to Stardew Valley for the annual egg hunt. I got some strawberry seeds, chatted with everyone, and look, the boys are all hanging out together. We rarely get dialogue from George about Evelyn, so it's always refreshing. Now I know that there was no reason for me to win the egg hunt this year, but I had to, I had to. Call me a child, I don't care. I am wearing a frog hat. Of course I won, with 12 eggs. Before going to bed I did some farm chores. A little late to be harvested, but I did it anyway. Believe it or not, I still made it to bed in time. The next day I got a letter about the Desert Festival. I was beyond excited for it. My field was starting to come along nicely. The blowfish asked for a pizza today. Honestly, same. And look at the legend fish color, it's such a pretty green. I had cleaned open a few artifact drops and whatnot. Got some pretty cool stuff, honestly. Then I had him upgrade my pan to iridium. And today I finally donated a prismatic shard to the museum. It had to be done. Then I completely messed up by giving Willy the albacore that Gus asked for, so he took it as a gift. I felt like an idiot. But I did change my bobber to a burger, so we're good. I stopped by Haley to give her an iridium quality coconut for her birthday, which she absolutely loved. Then I stepped into Lewis's house to get my hands on the sports cap. Nothing fancy, but it's good to have. I stepped into the coop and another dinosaur had hatched, so we welcomed Saruman to the family. I spent the rest of the night checking on what dishes I still needed to cook. I felt at this point that I probably should have prepared better. I also worked on some crafting recipes and got a lot of things done. This caused me to have a bunch of torches that I just placed all over the place. One day I will organize and decorate, okay? I know this is absolutely horrendous, but I didn't want to just store floors on my chest, you know? Day 127, I got a little taste of what being married to Emily is like. She is so sweet. Still watering that cauliflower, by the way. None of that mattered, because today was the first day of the Desert Festival. In case you didn't know, the main purpose of the festival is for you to get calico eggs that you can get in many ways to spend in different goodies. I got a makeover by Emily, even though she loves me just the way I am, and I turned out pretty cute, I think. I look like a real farmer. And that still counts as another hat, hey? Then I got a free cactus. I had a rumpled fruit skin for lunch. And no, I didn't know exactly what would give me the best buffs like luck and speed. Then I headed down to do a skull cavern dive. The biggest difference with the mines during the festival are these cat statues that give you bonuses, or sometimes negative things, and that you can find calico eggs. Every statue, plus every few floors down, you get an egg rating. The better the rating, the better the rewards at the end of the day. More than anything, I think it is super fun. On floor 13, I found one statue and the Miracle of Joba, an autopetter. Had a pretty good run overall, made it to floor 56 with an egg rating of 22, which impressed Gil to give me 100 more eggs. What a fun festival. The next day I was walking around in my undies, and I placed a cactus I got down. Oh, and I also placed down that autopetter where my pigs were. I love them, but this will make things easier for sure. I stopped by town to get Evelyn's quest from the board today. Then I had a realization that my chest with prismatic shards and other things that I had placed in the desert was not there. So I was sad when I also didn't see it in the lost and found. I drove myself to the desert, still on my undies by the way, got another one of those dishes, and I stepped in to get a new outfit. This is interesting. I used the eggs I got yesterday to buy hats at the egg trader. I never thought I would say that phrase. Which meant I had my hands on the blue bow, the mummy mask, and the dark velvet bow. These are so rad, and honestly, what else am I going to spend my eggs in? Another phrase I didn't think I would ever say. Also, Marnie sells truffle oil. When Lewis asked me for this, I am going to send him right to you, okay? I took the quest that gave the most eggs and dived down. I was not having a lot of luck today. It was past 4 p.m. and I was barely on floor 7. I like to say I didn't struggle, but I pressed on as strongly as I could, but only made it to floor 30 with an egg rating of 16. Not the best day, unfortunately. In case you were wondering, this is how I was walking around the next morning. Despite that, today I was serious business. I needed to get a high egg rating today, and I was going to try my absolute best. Oh, also, this was my new outfit. I started pretty strong, and did honestly pretty good. I had a couple of magnetism struggles, but I eventually got a new level of understanding. Around 8 p.m. I was already at level 24, so I needed to keep going. I was really trying to get as many bats as I could for extra batteries. It went as you can imagine. I almost blew myself up on accident because I was so close to dying, but hey, a little breezy. At midnight, I was level 30. Not bad. It was important for me to get this high because I wanted to impress Gil for the 200 calico egg reward and, most importantly, his very own hat. Truly one of a kind. I spent my remaining eggs in whatever cool thing I could find, and was actually able to sleep on my bed tonight. On day 130, I started the day by gifting Emily. I wanted she to love me at least 14 hearts. I think my cauliflowers are ready, but they are not huge, so I will keep watering them. At this point, I have no idea how I could have lived all my life without an iridium scythe, honestly. Today I decided to fix the land to plant some wild seeds, because I may have been neglecting my farm a little bit. I came across Haley taking pictures, and we ended up having a very interesting photo shoot. I came to Marnie's because I thought that my piggies were giving me loads of money. Might as well, right? So let me introduce you to Shelob, Treebeard, Denethor, Brego, Celeborn, and Sauron. Quite diverse folk, don't you think? Today I picked up my pan, which had been fully upgraded. I planted another tree in the greenhouse, the best place to plant them, and Abigail was behaving like a child still. I had a little dialogue from Elliot that made me chuckle a little bit. I foolishly spent the rest of the day running around in circles looking for a panning spot. I thought I heard one, and gave Pam a birthday gift before calling it a night. I know you may have thought I was crazy, but voila! My first ever big veggie. It only took a lot of faith and water. Also, look at all these piggies. I finally collected all the fish that my friend Bobo had requested. It only took me 1,000 trips with the crop pods, and got some carrot seeds as reward. I know it seems small, but I was really happy to plant all of this. It was a Friday, so sprinkler time. At the beach, I helped Haley with her bracelet. Let's just say this feels a little wrong once you know Emily is your wife. Especially when I found out that she was right there. I didn't even know she came here.
She doesn't even go here.
Then I came to Ginger Island and was surprised to see all the harvesting to be done, as well as all the walnuts I would get from them, including how my froggy friend came to inspect the veggies and fruit. I checked on the walnut room and I still have a ways to go, unfortunately. But I had enough to fix the resort, which meant more walnuts. From the Pirate's Cave, I found a Gorman statue and the stingray, the last Ginger Island fish I needed, which also meant I was only missing 2 fish to catch them all. Unfortunately, they are El Dorado and the octopus, so there is no way I am getting them before summer. After helping in a completely legitimate way and not at all relying on the wiki, I got more walnuts from Professor's nail stand. Lastly for the day, I also got the parrots to fix the island trader booth, which allowed me to pay a few terratubers that I had collected today in exchange of the deluxe cowboy hat. Very fancy. Just in case you were wondering, yes, we are getting very, very rich. The next day I took care of the farm and had to adjust the setup for the shed, since we were having starfruit now. I went about my day gifting anyone I could find. Gotta get those hearts up. Then sweet Evelyn taught me how to bake cookies. Interesting thing, she actually likes broken glasses as of 1.6, so don't just toss them. Then I went to the desert and was really happy to see my chest was still there. Then I had some monster musk and headed down. I never really learned my lesson, huh? Not me dying and these two literally making babies. The truth is, I wanted to get my monster goals completed. That is why the musk, okay? Nothing to report, just passed out at 2 AM surrounded by beasts. Day 133 brought so many strawberries. I stopped at the mastery cave and picked the mining perk. I was almost halfway down with another level too. I immediately crafted the dwarf statue that grants you a special power for the day. You get to choose between 2 options. I came to the desert, because it was a Sunday, to get more staircases and also more starfruit seeds. It's just good business. I spent the rest of the day just clearing the quarry and having a good time. Day 134 was the beginning of our last week of spring. I found some cookies in the trash that I then gave to Abigail, who was hungry. She took them before saying hi. I picked Robin's hardwood quest because the season was almost over for potatoes, and then headed to Ginger Island. I tried to play a tune for the mermaid with only 1 flute block, but it didn't work for me, so I guess I'll have to get more. I then cleared the bone side because I wanted to help the snail man. It was late, but I still took the time to find some walnuts. Before 2 AM, I did teleport to the farm, no worries. The next day, I struggled to water my indoor sunflower. Then checked on what I needed for the Statue of Blessings. Only a little bit of fiber. Good thing I live so close to Cindersap Forest. This statue gives you a daily blessing. I will be talking of the different ones I get as we get them, but for today, the blessing of the butterfly. Probably one of the lamer ones. It spawns a butterfly that if I find it, it gives me some monies. Nothing too special. But today was a lucky day, so we went to Skull Cavern. I started strong by finding a shaft, a treasure room, and some iridium sprinklers. On floor 59, a bat dropped a battery and a whole iridium bar. And I almost died on floor 70. But I like the adrenaline. The only reason I mention this is because nothing interesting happened during this run. I just made it to floor 86 with just a tiny bit of HP left. From now on, part of my daily routines will be gifting and kissing Emily and getting a blessing from each of the statues. Today I got the Blessing of Energy, which basically just means I have infinite energy.
Huh, I think I would have seen that.
While tending to my animals, I saw that the flower dance had started. Good thing that this year I have a wife that will dance with me. However, this is somehow even worse because for some reason I dance with the boys. Look at her, she's wearing blue and even brought a cowboy hat. Anyway, I also had to come to get the recipe that I always forget about. Before going to bed, I placed them some flowers I bought at the festival too. Day 137 was finally the day Emily gave me a star drop. Marriage does have its benefits. While harvesting my forageables today, I completed Evelyn's quest, which not only makes me so happy to help, but also gets me my coffee maker. Not that I need it, but it's cool. While I was here, I also had some conversations with Alex, which is slowly softening up to me. I stopped by the Hat Mouse and got the paper hat, because it is time for a change, and also because it is adorable. Then I stopped at the museum to donate a couple of things. The saloon to get a pizza for my blobfish, and the smoker I got as a reward from the prize machine. Busy day, huh? Back at home, I was crafting the things I saw I still needed, because I was stressed about perfection, okay? Today was also the first day I used the mini obelisk. Look at me go! The next day's blessing was the Blessing of Friendship, which means you make friends faster when talking to them. Yay! But oh, would you look at that, my coffee maker. I got some of my last harvest of the season and found out that the raccoon had a wife, with an interesting taste. I spent the rest of the day gifting everyone I could find. A variety of their love gifts, of course, because I do want to gift them all, every single one of them. It is a tough goal, but I like the challenge. Late at night, I caught these two being literal children and sneaking away. I spent the rest of the evening playing some sprinklers and scarecrows. Did you know you can put hats in the alien one? I spent so long doing chores and decorating that I had to sleep on the dirt on my farm. It's okay. Marlon carried me on his arms all the way to my bed. Day 139, after I gifted Emily, was the day I finally had reached 14 hearts with her. I would have my hat soon. With the help of the furnaces I already had, I made some heavy furnaces for the efficiency, since these can make more bars for less coal. While doing stuff in the farm, Emily interrupted me to tell me she wanted to get her some fiber? What? I still needed to get fiber for her to do my suit. Unfortunately, at that time I had 2 pieces of fiber. It was going to take me way longer than I thought, but that's okay, cause look at all the truffles I am getting every single day. Then in town I found, and I quote, Pierre's secret stash. What is your theory on what this is? I genuinely want to know what other people think his dirty secret is. Oh look, another cute rainbow butterfly. So Marlon opens at 2 p.m. But hey, he was happy to see me. Please, concerned Abe, let me marry Marlon. At least gift him. I would happily make him crab cakes and pumpkin soup. Anyway, the real reason I'm here is to check on the monster goals. Still a little bit behind. So at the mines, I worked on collecting fiber and killing Krabus's cousins. Yikes. The last day of the season. I had a lot of things to do in preparation for summer, like organizing my processing shed with loads of kegs and preserve jars. Then I took the sprinklers from my greenhouse to place them on the main farm. I did major organization because I really wanted to have a productive, organized summer. I shipped some things I had missing and really spent the rest of the day wasting my time thinking of what else I needed to do to obtain perfection this year. Though it was late, I figured I could spend some time in the mines, and I am glad I did because I got my first ever animal cracker. I will try to get one of these on all of my fish ponds, so then they can produce twice the amount of roe. Was I stressed about the grind? Yeah. Was I also having the time of my life? Oh, absolutely. The air is warm and there is a yellow color over everything, so it must mean summer is finally here. I had to get to work right away, since there were loads of spots to hoe, water, fertilize, and seed. I made sure to stop by Pierce before he closed to get all the seeds I was going to need. While I was planning, I found these two chismosas far from the rest. There is a lot of gossiping around on the farm, believe it or not. Poor things fell asleep in the middle of the field. Before bed, I also made sure to make a fiber patch since I was going to need loads of fiber. Ah, a brand new day, with loads of love from my piggies. Look at all those truffles. And my field looks lovely, don't you think? I came to Ginger Island today. It is a lot to take care of, but I expanded my starfruit empire. I had to give these sprinklers a good use, you know? Every time I come to Ginger Island, I make sure to get these mussels, since I know that there are walnuts hidden in them. My lucky day, I guess. Not that you care much about it, but look at how profitable roe is. Day 143, I begged Pam to take me to the desert. I needed to get more starfruit seeds, and since I was already here, might as well do a mines dive, right? It is good to come for resources and monster goals. Which, by the way, I completed one. This one was particularly special to me. Besides that, nothing super special happened. Just almost died a few times, but made it to floor 100 with no fuss. And I got a seed maker.
I mean, it's alright.
The next day, I accidentally gave Emily a bomb. You don't like it? That's understandable. Now 2 of my ponds had a cracker because I found another one yesterday. Oh, and my void salmons got some iridium. Weirdos. Today I also remember something very, very important, finally. I bought and planted some melon seeds that were urgent for me, again, with no sprinkler. Then I went to the desert for round 2. After trading a magic rock candy, of course, and I had enough Omnigeos with me, so I got myself the green turban. We are like twins. The biggest thing about today's dive was my hunting for dinos. Oh, and I also tried to break a rock with a hoe because I'm so good at this game. On floor 37, I actually found a wearable dwarf helmet. 2 hats in one day? Also, I love that this one hides my hair. I do think that these skull cavern dives are way more fun when watching or playing on real time. So, if you're enjoying the video and would like to see me doing these runs live, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a new video. Anyway, back on the grind. Today I made it to floor 107 before calling it a night, with lots of goodies on my pocket though. The next day started by watering by hand my melons. Yay. Then I crafted some more things I needed, like the deluxe scarecrow. At the beach, I had the super fun event where a bunch of crabs just invade Willie's shop. I came to the ocean to try to catch an octopus, in the company of my lovely, lovely wife. Let's just say I wasn't ready for it, okay? So I tried the El Dorado instead, and also wasn't successful. But I finally made it to the Mastery Cave again and chose the fishing perk. Only one more to go. With the help of double bobbers, I tried again, and lo and behold, then I thought about going back to my old ways and going to catch super cucumbers. I caught a few, turned them into bait when needed. I had some other bigger sources of money now, but these were still good. I mean, look at that. Day 146, I got some peppers, and I made some flute blocks I was going to need to make a mermaid happy. Then, onto the ocean I went. I needed to catch that octopus. It only took me 10 years to catch it, but I finally got it, unlocking the Master Angler achievement in my game and in Steam. How do I have over 1,000 hours in this game and do not have this one already? Anyway, Back at Juju Island, it was good that it was raining because it helped me prepare the land for some star fruit. I even planted more iridium sprinklers. I needed loads of money, okay? Then I found the bird with a ruby, which helped me complete this puzzle. Finally, oh my gosh. Then I also played some music for Ariel here, and this one is one of my favorite puzzles. This means I was 2 walnuts away from Mr. Key's room. Last day of the week was a lucky day, and I also got the blessing of luck. Pretty self-explanatory. From the mail, I got another stout drop, this time from Willie, for getting all fish. Oh, and what's that? What's my favorite thing? Oh, I guess that's true. From the radishes that I harvested today, I made some seeds and planted them again. I didn't even need Pierre anymore. Alex said something about my shoes being dirty. Oh, I'm sorry, I actually get work done because no, tending to the ice cream shop does not count. You potato. On the other hand, the family, and Maru, was gathered at the beach. I had a funny dialogue with Sam. I really like him. But the reason I was here was because I wanted to plant more fiber. I was getting anxious about my hat. After that, I was back at the volcano. I needed to find those walnuts I was missing. After struggling for a bit, I got 2 walnuts. It really cost me, believe it or not. I bought the recipes I was going to need from the dwarf and headed down. I didn't make it home though, obviously. The very first thing I did on day 148 was going to Mr. Key's room. I know he compliments you and is all nice, but I have never gotten a goodbye from him. The first 2 quests I could pick sucked, but I went for the one about gifting since it seemed more doable. Then I checked on the perfection tracker. Oh my, only 41%? Still had a long ways to go. Had to get to work, but first things first. I had the parrots deliver mail to 2 different locations from now on. I only did it so I could have the farm warp tower. This was going to make things so much easier. I stopped to buy a banana sapling on my way to donating some bones to Professor Snail. Then I went back to do more stuff at the farm, including collecting loads of fiber. Look at that. Emily was nowhere to be found though. I replaced that fiber with some summer seeds. I did a joy/overwhelming dance before working on replacing the produce in my shed. Before I forgot, I also planted that banana tree. I was going to need them for loads of things. Then I spent the rest of the day gifting people, including Gus for his birthday. I really wanted to get those key coins. Oh, and I guess it is also good to increase friendship points, huh? I picked the easiest board quest that there is too, since it was a new week. This is one of the absolute saddest dialogues ever written. You can't change my mind. I spent the late night making more ancient fruit seeds. A lot of these were needed. The next day, I finally got a new blessing, so I could go even faster, and got Emily all the fiber she needed. So excited for what was next. Today, I also got a mysterious letter from a JoJo representative. I wonder what this means. I was surprised to find that my blobfish were British and wanted some tea. I also experienced for the first time some unhappy animals. They had eaten all the grass I had for them, so we were completely hay dependent. Did you know that if you put grapes on the dehydrator you get raisins? Pretty cool, huh? I don't know why it was so important to me to get a different hat today, but we did. I went to cut some wood on my way to getting new recipes from Pierre. I needed to do something about my animals. Because I had just given all my fiber to Emily, I could only make 4 grass starters. The rest of the day was spent in gifting. Again, I stayed up late to cut as much wood as I could. Planting back the seeds, of course. When talking to Emily the next morning, I made sure to gift her and work on the board quest. I didn't have any rubies though, for now. Later in the day, I went to Clint's to get some stuff opened. Got some pretty cool stuff, not gonna lie, including a whole banana tree. Literally one day after I had already bought one. And a prismatic shard. Then I donated some things to the museum. Here is where I planted those trees I got, by the way. To fix my animals' food problem, I thought to plant a tea sapling on top of grass. but that didn't work. 1, because you can't plant them on top. 2, because Sauron here is full of selfishness and ate it right away. I still planted them though, and did the trick with the fences instead. This should help a bit with the food problem. Even though it was late, I figured that a good use of my time would be to go to the quarry mines. For some reason. The next day I realized the grass did not last 2 seconds, so I was going to have to make more. Hey, at least I made sure they had hay so people were happy today. Just so you know, this is how my shed looks like every 3rd day. Life can be rough. While working on that, I was reminded of the luau. I brought an iridium quality truffle that I knew everyone would love. Jazz had the exact reaction I would have if I had to attend this festival for real life. But George seems to be having a good time, and that's enough for me. Everyone loved the soup, don't worry. Look at all that money though. Day 152, I got the Blessing of Waters, which meant that the first 3 fish I hooked would be easier to catch. Oddly specific, but pretty cool I think. Today I also decided to sell most of my bars. Money was tight, I guess? No, seriously, I don't know why, because I am making so much money in other ways. I teleported to the island that had much better weather. I worked on expanding the farm again, this time with more ancient fruit. Oh my! Now that is what I call style. I had one more thing to donate to Snail, so I did. Then I came to the dig site to look for what I was still missing. I got yet another walnut from these, and in a matter of 2 seconds, the 2 snake vertebrates that were needed. Joba was definitely on my side. Because I was feeling so lucky, I decided to go fish for the last piece I needed, so I didn't have to enter his office ever again. While doing so, I got my first ever golden treasure chest, and it had a Sonor Bobber. I tried different spots and until very late, but eventually I was so lucky today, oh my goodness. I completed his mini research thing and was done with everything he needed. I can't believe how funny he looks when he's not behind the desk. I learned how to make an ostrich incubator and headed out. Yes, without picking up my walnuts. Day 153, the spirits were so happy. I got a blessing of ladders and also a blessing of speed. So we obviously had to go to Skull Cavern. I did everything I needed to do, like harvesting, planting an orange tree in the greenhouse, having a completely normal conversation with shirtless Alex, before giving him a birthday present of course, telling Demetrius he's stupid for thinking you can do a fruit salad with tomatoes, and getting another shed build, cause nothing fits in there anymore. So I made it to Skull Caverns until 1 PM. The most important thing that happened is that I almost died. Twice. But I made it to floor 77 with loads of resources and monsters laid. The next day I found out that 2 of my fish ponds had requests, for tea, still, and for a petrified slime. I'm sure I will fulfill their requests pretty soon. It's about time, boys and girls. Blueberries. I gave Emily a ruby, which completed the weekly quest. I would have a sewing machine soon. Then I headed to the desert again today. I traded some jades for staircases and headed down. Is there a reason why I'm coming to Skull Caverns so often? No, I just love it. There were a lot of monsters to take care of, which was good for my monster goals. The problem that games like Elden Ring or Halo or combat games have is that the combat is not as thrilling and exciting as this. Many bats mean many batteries, right? I made it to floor 67 before passing out. A great dive if you ask me. The next day I woke up to the greenness of the toxic rain, which meant there was a ton of weeds to take care of. And forageables. If you are wondering, this is what I did for the entirety of the day. Some of my trees had mutated, so I got a topper from one of them to place it on my brand new mystic tree. Pretty cool, huh? And the lucky pawn to get the new cracker is the lava eel. I think this is the most valuable. Today I also had the realization that I might have to buy another goat because I still had not shipped a small goat's milk. And because my goats are so loved and so well fed, they just keep making large milk. I've been neglecting them a bit by not penning them, but I really don't want to do that anymore, you know? My second shed is ready, so I'm gonna go and expand it. I made more sprinklers and more tea saplings. To fix the issues with the grass and the animals, I planted some grass all over the place, and then placed fences over them. I hope this improves their lifestyle a bit. Oh, and those extra tea saplings? They also made it to the bottom left corner. Back at home, I placed my sewing machine. And what a better way to break it in than by making a blue party hat. So festive. It was not until after 9 p.m. that I made it outside of the farm, just to cut more weeds. But I did have my axe this time, so I think it was a pretty good day, don't you think? Check out the struggle I went through to get this figured out. Oh my gosh. The next day, everything was back to normal. I was so close to my last mastery level, I wanted to get it soon. My melons were ready, but they were not as big as I wanted them to be. So I will keep watering them with the hopes that they grow. I then realized that my path to the animal area was blocked by one of the tea saplings I placed. Good thing that now when you cut them down, you get the sapling still. Thanks, Eric. I think it's so cute that the pigs get all closer to eat the grass I placed, meaning I need to plant more. Today was finally the day. I have been saving quite a bit of money and I would be happy to make traveling easy. So I got myself the water obelisk, aka the massive beach totem. I needed all the obelisk for perfection, so a step closer to it. Then I had the one and only scene with the dwarf, which feels more like a Caribou scene, honestly, because it doesn't make the dwarf more likable really. Instances like this are what make me question, why do we have to befriend him and not my sweet, sweet Marlin? I have nothing against the dwarf, I just want more people to gift. I like the struggle, I guess. Plus, it left Caribous all bruised. I started to grow interest in the returned scepter. Maybe one day? Only the wizard catalog for now though. I really needed to decorate, okay? I stopped at the museum to donate one thing. Progress is progress. I went back to Ginger Island today too, because I had a ton of honey and starfruit to get, which granted me my last level of understanding. Also, look at all this fiber. I had enough for the rest of my life. So satisfying to hear that too. I did plan back as much as I could. At Mr. Key's room, I had to choose between a bad quest and a terrible quest. So I picked the one that gave the more coins. With everything I've done in the last few days, we have now 43%. A 2% improvement. Yay! Back at home, Emily gave me a huge surprise. Right in front of the fire. She gave me a whole outfit. This was such a sweet cutscene, and I was so happy to see it, even with my party hat. It didn't last for long though. Yesterday I made some decorating with the new catalog, and this is how the house looks like now. What do you think? I took a copy from the machine to give to Emily, who immediately gave one back to me. Probably the same one. Today I also decided that 2 were not enough and made a 3rd heavy furnace. Still watering the melons. Oh my goodness, why is everyone being so loud? This is how much I am chipping almost every day, by the way. And today was the day. I had reached the full level of understanding of the mastery ways, unlocking trinkets and other things, and having Grandpa real proud of me, patting me on my shoulder. He probably couldn't catch me because I was dancing with so much joy. I spent the rest of the day gifting people. This meant getting closer to perfection. I had a scene where Sam broke an egg and his mom was involved. He did apologize though, after I gifted him for his birthday. Nothing better than starting the day with a fresh harvest of blueberries, huh? I took the time today to come to Ginger Island to plant more ancient seeds and more starfruit. Looking pretty good. Today was finally the day I made it onto the Pirate's Cove. It's so wild. The main reason I wanted to come, other than seeing Mario and Luigi fighting, was because I needed to win this darts game 3 times for them walnuts. And since it was still early, I tried to get more walnuts from the volcano. I was lucky, I also got a scrap note I needed. I found so many walnuts. I think I'm so close to getting them all. The next day, I woke up on Ginger Island, with loads of harvesting to do. Good thing I had some seeds left over from yesterday, and it is so nice to go back home so easily. Today I moved the seed makers to a more convenient place and started doing more ancient fruit seeds. To keep with the farm upgrades, I had Robin build me a shipping bin that I placed in my animals area, with same-day assemble and everything. Oh, and also an upgrade for my shed, because I had lots of kegs and starfruit ready to get to work. And since I was here, I gifted Demetrius. I had actually forgotten it was his birthday, otherwise I would have brought him something of a bigger quality. I tried to catch Willie at the beach to take me to Ginger Island, but I didn't make it. I really wanted to get the island obelisk soon. Back at the farm, I planted even more grass with fences. I really wanted to solve the food problem, cause I love my animals, okay? Before the end of the day, I also stopped at Marlin's to check on the monster goals and get my hands on my very own napalm ring, one of my favorites. Day 160, I harvested some gold quality tomatoes, which meant I could complete Pierre's board quest. I've been working on this one for a while. Today was spent gifting. Again. I also participated on Elliot's reading, My Heart. A lot of people were gone by the end, but me and my wife stood still to the end to support. I hope she doesn't mind he dedicated the book to me. But then all the women joined to align our chakras and do some yoga. It was pretty fun. And lastly, I also went to the train station. Not to take the train, but to cut down the forest that had grown. Yes, I did plan everything back, no worries. Today, I went to Clint's to open a bunch of Omnigeodes, trying to find more things to donate. Then I went to Ginger Island, where the parrot told me I still needed to crack muscles. Good thing I did. I also finally got my ostrich egg. Ostriches, here I come. I had the parrots build me a bridge, because why not? And then headed to the caldera to merge my burglar's ring with my napalm ring. Very powerful in combat. In case you didn't know, what this does is it makes it so that when enemies die, they explode. And since I come here to fight the baddies, for the goals I had, it seemed like a good idea to stay for the rest of the night, right? Wrong. Nothing bad, I only lost 15,000 gold. This is why I hate the volcano. I could have gone home to cry, but instead I decided I wanted to keep grinding. You are very wrong if you think I didn't struggle here as well. Can you believe we're on the last week of summer? We are still stressing about those melons. I made sure to stop by the dwarf to gift him for his birthday. And I chose the bones quest at the board today. Then I went to Ginger Island. Here I could get bones from the bones side. While I was here, I got to meet Fizz, who would help me with perfection if I needed. For a fee, of course. Man, I am so glad Lewis doesn't wear a swimming suit here. I came to the volcano again today, looking for dragon teeth and fighting magma sprites. In the process, I also got my slime monster goal completed. I can't believe I was that close to that. The next day, I flew home. Look at how efficient. I finally felt the need to upgrade to a big chest in here. I made some more machinery of processing and improved my sheds as much as I could, since my keg's shed was fully upgraded now. And once I was not busy anymore, I started gifting as many as I could. Pierre had what he was looking for, as no one wanted to buy his organic vegetables. I am sure he didn't even tell them that I grew it in my farm. I told him to be less greedy. I don't think he learned the lesson though. I waited in front of Robin's desk to catch her just at the right time so she would upgrade my coop. Finally. Day 164, I woke up to Sam at my door. His band was going to play and he wanted me to see him. Very sweet. I got a mini shipping bin from Pierre that I would give a very good use to. Today, I unfortunately encountered more sad piggies. I feel terrible about it. But I had to worry about other things too, like monster goals. Trust me, I also have no idea what Mrs Smuthy from the past was up to. But I did get all the bones I needed though. And I also completed yet another Monsters Lair goal. We're making huge progress here. For getting another goal completed, I got the one, the only, skeleton mask. Look at the harvesting that got done today. I finally made some more lightning rods too. Then I went to cleanse to get more things opened. The best thing was probably the magic raw candy. I love that stuff. And I got one more thing donated. Little by little, we progress. I also completed the Bones quest. It was really easy, honestly. Then I went to the Calico Desert to get even more starfruit. Good thing it was raining at Ginger Island. It made planting all the seeds way faster and convenient. The parrot at Leo's house told me I had to go to the volcano again. But I didn't go because I was obedient. Instead, I went to the caldera, I had a lucky lunch, and set myself to catch lava eels. This because I had the blessing of waters today, so it should be super easy. It really was. It felt like a sardine. 3 iridium lava eels like nothing. Don't worry, after that I did go into the volcano. In there I lost a few dragon teeth, but found on my pocket a green party hat. I don't know when I got this, but I won't complain. I made sure to go back home and smoke those lava eels before going to bed. No worries. I woke up this morning scared to death to see Balrog's face was a skull. I must have placed it on error, but was happy because that reminded me we could put hats on pets now. So he will have a blue bow from now on. Doesn't he look fabulous? Today the blessing was the blessing of fangs. That to me that meant nothing. I maybe just don't understand how critical chances works. Now you tell me if there is something better than harvesting blueberries during the rain and thunder. Oh, you know what? Maybe a full shed of products? Oh yeah, we are doing serious business now. On the other hand, I had one of the saddest scenes with Shane.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
The traveling cart was selling a fish taco, a crayfish, a red seed, and a portrait of my sweet Emily. So I bought it all. On my way back to town, I was forced to join the band of the Hackmigos of Pelican to the concert. It was actually super fun. Emily was there on her own, by the way. And also Jody and Vincent. I think that's so cool. Oh, and let's not forget about Linus. But anyway, back in Stardew Valley, I got some monster mask and went to fight beasts. The void spirits were one of the only ones left that I could still do in the local mines. So here you had me. In the process, I also completed the raw crabs. I didn't know I still needed these, but it was pretty cool. Floor 89 was full of monsters. I fought them till I passed out at 2 in the morning, surrounded by them. The next morning, Shane was at my door trying to apologize for the day before.
Anyway.
I got some of my lost harvest of the season and made some challenge bait, especially because I had the blessing of waters today, and I knew how profitable lava eels were now, especially smoked. Challenge bait makes it so that if you have a perfect catch, you catch 3 fish instead of only 1. The caveat is that if you lose the fish for a moment, then you only catch 2 and so on until you can lose all of the fish. Since these 3 fish were going to be easier, it made sense to use it with lava eel, helping me take 7 eels instead of 3. I could have gotten more, but I guess I should get better at fishing too. I then went to the ocean to catch fish I would need for recipes, most importantly, a tuna. Back in town, I encountered Sebastian himself. I feel like because I have been working on getting my hearts up with everyone, I have been getting cutscenes like crazy. Everyone is so cute, clingy, and romantic now. I'm sure Emily won't be upset by this, right? I did some fishing by the lake too, before I headed to bed, holding a rock. Last day of the season. I had the blessing of waters again. So, to celebrate fish, I guess, I made a couple more fish chests that would represent ocean, lake, and river. It was the last day of the season and my melons never became one giant melon. I was so sad because this meant I had to get this goal done until next year. It was my lucky day though because the traveling cart had a few oranges, which I'd bought because the raccoon and his wife want some dehydrated ones, the Gucci guys. I went to the mines again today, you know why, and I worked on that until I was reminded of the dance of the moonlight jellies. I used my portal to get there faster. No one noticed a thing or freaked out, don't worry. I bought a seafoam pudding and talked with everyone before sitting down to enjoy one of the best soundtracks of all time. Summer was gone, but I still had a lot to do. My crops are dead, but I was going to prepare better this season. I started preparing the land for all the crops I was going to plant. I also got some deluxe speed grow. Why not, right? The first day of the season is always a crazy busy one. I made sure to plant a variety of crops, plus watered everything. I made sure to plant from day 1 9 pumpkins here, all with speed grow. I was not making the same mistake twice. I planted some more trees in the greenhouse and also some fall seeds to maximize efficiency. At 1 AM I entered my shed to find that everything was ready to be replaced, and silly me worked on that until I fell asleep, dreaming of how rich I was getting. Day 170 I still woke up in my bed, because Marlon's 3 AM sweep routine includes my shed. A little creepy. Part of my production this year will be my starfruit wines. It's just good money. Then in town I helped Penny tidy up her house a little bit. But Pam didn't like this free cleaning services, maybe because it was 10 AM and she was already drunk. Immediately after, she fed me the Eowyn's too, and I entered her home for the 3rd time to gift her for her birthday a book that she loved. Then I went to the mines to work on my monster goals. Took me some effort and a few plum snacks, but I found a whole prismatic shard. I did not complete the goal though. I still have quite a lot to do. You can just assume that I water my pumpkins every day, okay? Because the entirety of my other field it's so well taken care of. My Ginger Island farm, on the other hand, looks hideous. But it is making lots of money though, especially because every time I come, I can plant more ancient seeds. And also starfruit, of course. Then I went to suffer yet again at the volcano. I still needed walnut from a chest and some more dragon teeth. Plus, I also needed to get some magma sprites taken care of. And when I said I struggled, I meant I really struggled. The next day, I somehow had more starfruit to harvest. Started processing them right away. The total truffles I picked up and shipped today was 37. Not bad, huh? But today was a lucky day and had the blessing of speed, so I went to the desert. I finally completed the ghost monster goal. Found not 1, but 2 animal crackers for my fishes. And just a second after, I found a trinket. Excited to give this one a try. What the ice rod does is that it freezes enemies nearby, making combat way easier. It does need to hit the enemy to work, just so you know. It is fine, I guess, not my favorite. Day 173 I placed animal crackers on the angler and the mutant carp ponds. And I was already harvesting loads of things. Just in time for all these preserve yards too. Pickling a lot, because kegs are being used for the starfruit wine. When I walked into Cindersap Forest, Penny was having a picnic with the kids. Vincent said something that had her embarrassed. But I mean, you can't just jump into a tree with someone and expect his brother not to be talking about it, you know? Oh, speaking of the devil. Can you believe that Emily still doesn't like it when I dig through the trash? Come on, girl. I stopped by Pierre to get more seeds and things I would need for recipes, and a whole catalog to decorate my home. Speaking of decorations, today I also placed some signs. I used to do this a lot, but I haven't in a while, so it is nice. I placed some more grass too, so that the little ones would not be hungry. And I spent the rest of the day cooking. Literally. I need to cook every single recipe for perfection, so I had to start one day. I also unlocked the achievement of Cook and Sous Chef. Very fancy. The next day, I packed with me a bunch of things that would work as gifts. And when I entered the town, I had a fun cutscene with my wife, Shane, and Clint, who is just so awkward in front of her. Then I went about gifting people their favorite gifts as a good deed. And because I love to hustle, then I went to Ginger Island where I had more ancient fruit waiting for me. It was good that I harvested them today, because I remembered about the missing bundle and was able to donate some to it. Now, I know I have been playing this game for a while, but I still make silly mistakes like this, where I place all of my good gifts in the shipping bin instead of a chest. So clever. To be certain, the next day I moved the dehydrator so that I wouldn't sell those dried oranges on accident. Then I went to the desert to resupply on starfruit seeds. Since it was Sunday, I also made sure to get some more staircases. I stopped at the wizard to gift him something and also checked on the obelisks, since I had a bit of money. So I went home to get a few iridium bars and got myself my second obelisk, the desert one. I was going to get Pam out of a job. Good, because she's always drinking. Back at Ginger Island, I placed a new iridium sprinkler and more ancient seeds within, as well as more fruit where needed. I realized I also had some terra seeds, so why not plant those as well? And look how fast it is to get home now. The very next day, I already had things to collect. Turned these forageables into more seeds and planted them right away. Guess what? My first ever banana. I needed this for a few things, so I was really excited. I got some pickled tomatoes in to replace the hot pepper jelly, both of this being a little weird. Oh, and I got those dried oranges indeed. I decided it was a good time to reorganize as well. Did the same thing with the kegs and shipped a lot of valuable things. I want to check today on the perfection tracker again. More than half the way there. I picked the prismatic shard quest because I would not do Junimo card and I'm not that crazy. I took that banana I got earlier and had this gorilla dance a little bit for me. So weird, so random, but so fun. Then I headed to the volcano looking for more teeth. These front monsters always seem to have one. In the process, I got some walnuts I needed before passing out exhausted. The 177 had a ton of harvesting to do. It is so satisfying to see such a productive field. I had to come to get more seeds, obviously. I know I said I wasn't going to come to Pierce anymore, but it's just so much easier, okay? I had to go to the forest to get more wood, to make a bigger chest for my shed, to keep with the demand. Then I went to the North Forest to get even more wood. The next morning, I spent time in the kitchen moving some of the dishes I had cooked into a different chest. I was running out of space with all this cooking. My pumpkins had grown, but only a little. I would have to wait and see if they would merge into one. The pumpkins on the other patch were harvested though, and at Pierce I bought some flour, pumpkin seeds, and more speed grow. I paid to the bogs he had left to go swimming. Must be nice having days off. Then I went home to cook even more. Then I went fishing because I still needed some fish for recipes, like the salmon and a couple of eels. I also saw the boys coming home from their hangout. During the night, I also got a gold fishing chest that had nice fancy dishes, but I don't know if I would eat those. Once home, I cooked even more. I didn't want to stress more about this, okay? In case you didn't know, if you cook a meal, it will tell you how many times you have cooked it. So if it doesn't have anything here, then you still need to cook it. I spent the rest of the day going in and out of the house, getting whatever I might need, and then turning it into a dish, while I was also making notes of whatever else I needed. Oh no, a witch is leaving a void egg in my coop. Right as I am also producing void mayonnaise. How inconvenient. Today I had so many things to harvest that my inventory got full. So I had to have a mango for breakfast. How unfortunate. I had a conversation with Sam, the man-child, and he mentioned that he hated making decisions. Honestly, same. Here, have a Georgia Cola. Immediately after, poor Ken was having some PTSD. Luckily, I was able to manage the situation. Once things had calmed down, I started gifting around, including Vincent, who I am at 10 hearts with now, which unlocks the Beloved Farmer achievement. After gifting Yuri for her birthday, I had also reached full hearts with her, so we're making huge progress. Then I came to Ginger Island and I finally moved these terribly placed bee houses. I did something interesting though. I planted some fairy rose on Ginger Island and placed some bee houses around it. This means that when it grows, they will produce the most valuable type of honey all year round. Pretty cool, huh? Then I went to the volcano yet again. This is where I found my one and only magic quiver. This is my absolutely favorite trinket. It shoots arrows at enemies and it is so OP because of the kickback it has. I love it. I went home to put things away before heading to bed. Day 180 was a very, very sad one. Something terrible happened today. I accidentally picked up one of my pumpkins. I was a step back on my progress. I noticed some food was missing, so I made sure to replace the hay so that the animals would not be hungry again. When I visited Marnie today, I actually had one of the most wholesome scenes in my opinion. Interestingly, he said he was still going to go to the saloon because what else is there to do? But I was here to get yet another goat, because I still needed a small goat milk. Welcome, Argonath. Hope you feel at home. The traveling cart had a lobster, a largemouth bass, and a shrimp that I buy, because I did not want to have to catch them. I could afford it, so I got the retro catalog in case I felt decorative. I stopped by Robin to complete a hardwood quest she had, as well as asking for a home upgrade that include a crib. Don't get too excited though. I also stopped by Lewis to 1. Get a Star Drop tea, and 2. File for a divorce.
What?
Oh no, she did not.
I know, everything seemed happy between Emily and I, but I did ask if y'all would like me to marry again, and options were given. So we will be marrying someone else now. I didn't forget about that pumpkin, by the way. I still planted it. I placed down the catalog and it has some cool stuff here. I came down to the town and found Abigail just hanging out at the cemetery. Then Pierre appeared out of nowhere. That was funny. Then we very innocently hid on a bush. Then I somehow activated yet another cutscene. Man, these are getting a little bit out of control. I hang it out with Maru, who is one of the few that makes it so obvious that she has a crush on me. So adorable. I went to bed at 1 a.m. and Emily was there, fast asleep. The next day, her and her whole room were gone.
She's gone.
But things on the farm had to keep going. I went to the desert to get more starfruit seeds and also a long dress, in case I needed it. Today in town, after getting more bok choy seeds, I was going through my usual trash digging when I found the one, the only, trash hat. How convenient that I got it after I divorced Emily, huh? Not to feel so terrible, I made a stop at the Shrine of Memory, where I paid a ton of money to have the memories of Emily completely gone. She would not be upset at me at all now. I came to Ginger Island and I am glad I did, because I got the curry recipe from Gus. He also mentioned being sorry about the breakup. What a cool guy. When Leo asked me what I was thinking about, I said someone special. It was true. Now, if any of you dares to answer, what does that matter to a bird? You are completely heartless. I also just love that Willy is just there hanging around. Then I spent 3 years refilling with starfruit. And then all the way I went to visit Marlon. I collected some rewards, including the arcane hat. From the monsters, looks like I only need to take care of the void spirits, the pepperexes, and the magma sprites. And today I finally placed some lamps at home. Day 182, I finally got my old outfit back. Didn't seem right to go about with Emily's outfit without Emily. And I finally moved the chest to somewhere not in the middle of the room. I planted this cactus fruit at home. For absolutely no reason. Then also, for absolutely no reason, I went to Pierre's to buy a bouquet. Then I went to the mines looking for some frozen geodes. And got a whole parrot egg too. I wasn't interested in changing my trinkets right now, but it was good to have. Just a few floors down, I found a frog egg. Now this is just too adorable. Oh my gosh. I went down a few more floors to fight void spirits, and oh my! Joshi was hungry, huh? After midnight, I stopped by the lake to get the midnight carpet I needed for more cooking recipes. The start of a brand new week, and a bigger house, unlocking the Living Large achievement. I planted more fall seeds in front of my house and replaced the frog egg with the magic quiver again. I really like it, okay? When I was leaving town was the first time I met with Emily since the divorce, and she had some weather talk. However, I sprinted to talk to Sam, gave him a bouquet in front of Penny. The first thing he asked was if we could kiss. Yes, please! Can we? No, wait, I have other things for you. Right after we started dating, I gifted him an iridium quality cactus fruit and a Stardrop tea, which put me at 10 hearts with him, all in just a few conversations. I know, I'm irresistible. I was going to take the bus to the desert, but then I remembered that I had the obelisk, so why not use that instead? It's free real estate.
It's free real estate.
I gave Sandy a rabbit's foot for her birthday, and now we are besties. Then I drove myself back home. I picked the Terra Ruber quest to unlock recipes I needed, and then I headed to Ginger Island to work on that. The parrot reminded me I still needed a golden walnut from the Pirate's Cove. I am glad, because otherwise I would have completely forgotten about it. At Mr. Key's room, I chose the Extended Family quest, because this one is fundamental for me. You'll see why later. I made a quick stop by the furnace to combine an iridium band and another burglar's ring. I wanted loot like crazy. This is my new ring combination. It doesn't really get much better than this. Then I went to suffer the volcano. Nothing huge happened, just kept working until I fell asleep. Day 148, I got a bold letter from Sam. I'm looking forward to it. I planted more ancient seeds since there was room. We're really growing here. My cactus fruit was jelly, which meant I could finally complete this quest for the raccoons, which granted me the Raccoon Journal. Now weeds have a greater chance of getting me seeds. Pretty cool, huh? I then somehow completely forgot that today was the Stardew Valley Fair. I wasn't planning to come, so I just did fun things, like placing a bunch of cheese on my display and still getting second place, not bad. Getting a burger, and spending all my tokens on green so I could get an additional prize ticket. Once all things were over, I found myself sneaking into Sam's room. This is the problem I have with Sam. All the sneaking and hiding from his mom. It feels like he is a teenager and I'm a grown woman. But I guess that didn't stop me from staying put. Also, dude, close the door! The next day was raining, but that didn't stop me from harvesting like crazy and crafting an ostrich incubator. I was going to have a baby ostrich soon. Then I rushed to the ocean to catch the old mariner and get a mermaid's pendant. I was not just fooling around, you see. I went to his room while he was busy practicing guitar to propose to him, and he said yes. He was so happy he went back to play his guitar immediately, silly guy. I talked to Jody after and she seems to be happy about Sam and I. But since I was not wasting time, I went up the mountains, had a seafoam pudding, and tried to catch the legend too. I didn't know this, but if you cancel the catch, then you still lose the blessing of water. And in case you were wondering, the relatives of the legendary fish just look like normal fish when drilling in. Just so you know. I was lucky to find the rusty cog on a golden treasure chest, one of the last artifacts I needed for the museum. Since I couldn't catch the legend, cause I didn't know that their little logo changed, I set up to catch Mrs. Angler, and this one was special. And after a few fish catch, this one looking a bit difficult, I got the legend too. Easy peasy. Since it was only 10 PM, I came to catch Crimson Fish Sun. Good thing I'm having food bobs. I was on a roll, so might as well get the radioactive carb, right? It was 1 in the morning, but I thought it would be pretty rad to catch the last fish I needed in one day, right? I fought my worst enemy's son with courage. And just like that, I had completed this quest, gotten some key gems, and did all of that before taking a nap in the middle of a bridge under the rain. I started smoking the very next morning. When I was about doing chores in my farm, including breaking a whole meteorite, I ran out of inventory, so I threw a whole bed on the floor for a moment. My field had been neglected, so I made sure to get the seeds I needed. Then, in a completely legitimate way and not at all looking at the Stardew Valley predictor, I opened different geodes and artifact troves that helped me donate 4 things to the museum. Every time we're needing a bit less. I was lucky to find one more of the things I needed on my way to the mountains. This one was not planned, I promise. I had a super annoying scene with Demetrius and Robin, but I love how Sebastian stands for his mom. I came to Roberts and checked on the new house upgrades available, but then I had her made me another fish pond, the very last one I would need. I came to the desert for more beet seeds and also this doll I had forgotten about. Today, for absolutely no reason, decided to start working on the nursery. It is looking really good, don't you think? Look at all the things I had for harvest today. And lucky me, the traveling cart had some caviar for sale. Now I didn't have to get a sturgeon pond. I stopped at Pierre's to replace all the things I had harvested. I went for mostly fast-growing crops since we're half the way done with the season. I'm still purchasing sprinklers from Krobus, by the way, and gifted him my good quality void eggs. He is quiet, but he loves them. I donated those things to the museum. We are getting so close to completing it. Then I came to Ginger Island and just happened to complete a quest for Leah. I went to the volcano because I really wanted to get the dragon teeth I needed for the obelisk. I also wanted to find the last golden walnut I needed from a chest, so I made my screen way further away to see more easily. While trying to survive, I completed the Magma Sprites monster eradication goal. I was so happy about this one. After that, I figured I had done plenty, and it was already getting late, so I headed home. I fixed my screen, no worries. I was happy to see I had 10 bananas and 10 dragon teeth, so I said hi to Rasmodius and got my next obelisk, the island one. Finally, no more depending on Willy. Before the end of the day, I made sure to plant more wheat, sell my caviar, and checked on my dresser for new outfits. Because on day 188, I woke up to the wedding bells. I wore my bridal outfit happily and got married to Sam. I've never actually married him, so I was excited to get to know someone new. Also, fun fact, Mr. Smuthy and I actually got married on the 20th of fall as well in real life. Pretty cute, huh? Well, time to get to work. I also kept my outfit just for funsies. When I talked to Penny, she congratulated me about Sam and said he was really fun.
Oh, suck it, bitch, I win.
And Vincent told me not to take his Sam. No, that's so cute. Abigail also had something else to say about Sam, but her friendship with him always seemed platonic to me. Anyway,
suck it, bitch.
I spent some time gifting everybody. Gotta get those hearts up. I found poor Sebi playing alone in Sam's room. It broke my heart. Next save file, Seb. Next save file. I came to gift the wizard today, and since I could actually afford it, I also got my last obelisk. I can't believe that we have them all already. Next up, the golden clock. Just like that, I was on Ginger Island. The parrot told me to keep looking on the journal pages for walnuts I needed. Very helpful, friend. Our perfection tracker currently says 58, so not bad at all. The reward from all those magma sprites was Gil giving me their phone number. Gil, I'm a married woman, okay? Oh, and in case you were wondering how much money we're bringing in every day. The next day, I was sad to witness my pumpkins were all grown. Again, but not grown enough. I was not going to give up. But my newest fish pond was ready. I forgot about it because I really wanted to go to Skull Caverns. It has been a minute. I wanted to work on the Pepper Rexes, and by working, I mean sending them all back to their creator. Hey, extent is extent, okay? Plus, the quiver makes things so much easier. I found 3 whole dino floors today, so that helped a lot. And yes, if you were wondering, I did struggle. But I made it to floor 88 with over 100 pieces of iridium, a whole prismatic shard, and a bomb on my head. Today I changed into my clothes again, and remembered to give Mrs. Angler her own fish pond, meaning I had completed my goal of obtaining all 11 colored fish ponds. It is so worth it. The tea bushes I planted ages ago are finally getting me tea leaves, which I need to chip and process still. Little Argonath also finally gave me a small goat's milk. I got some crops ready. Unfortunately, since we are so close to the end, one of the only things we can plant is wheat. I stopped at Robin's to ask her to build me a slime hutch. I know it is not the most profitable, but it will come in handy. I know it. I spent the rest of the day crafting whatever I could and still had not made before. Who knows? Maybe I'll start using the bone meal I just crafted. Day 191, Sam had ordered a plant off the internet that I decided to keep. It is not just my home after all. I checked on the things I still needed for full shipment because we are so close. I bought a pomegranate tree because it is the only one that I'm missing, or at least that's what I was thinking at this time. Then I went to the mines looking for rice shoots from the grubs, and also some squid ink from Squid Kids. Both were really easy to get. I planted that pomegranate tree in the greenhouse after chopping a whole banana tree, since I had two. Don't worry, I got to keep the sapling. Oh, and I planted that rice shoot to chip it someday. Something else is that I turned a few garlics I had into seeds and then planted into the greenhouse, because I needed a lot of them for the oil of garlic. Then I went home to make some decorations, including changing the floor to match Sam's room. Looking good. The next day, the man, the legend, Marlon, was standing at the door to give me my very first slime egg. Thanks, sweetheart. Today I picked up all my sprinklers, for some reason, and behold, my second big crop. A massive pumpkin. I know you thought I was going to miss again, but no. I was so happy to keep this one forever. I immediately got my slime hutch to work. When I entered the barn today, I found that my ostrich had hatched, so we welcomed Galadriel to the family. What an absolute cutie. I stopped by Robin's to get yet another building done, this time a simple well in my animals area. I also moved one of the sheds, not to be in the middle of everything anymore. I went to Ginger Island to get a new key quest. This one seems so fun, I had to give it a try. The perfection tracker hasn't moved much, but we're getting there. I got one more walnut from these things that I break every day I come here, and then took a very fast trip back home. These portals have disadvantages though, like how I accidentally end up in the desert instead of the mountains today. I came to the mines looking for more bat wings for Monster Musk. With 2 burglar's ring, it's just so worth it. I love that Sam is honest about not being able to water the crops because of the sprinklers. That is cute. Look at all these cute colors too. We have really come a long way, huh? Then I came to Ginger Island to gift Leo, because I need to work on my hearts with him. I slowly followed Harvey and Caroline into the appointment. I don't think they mind. Today at Marcelo's, I read the horse book, even though I don't have a horse yet. And also all the recipes I needed from the Queen of Sauce. Only 6, which is good. Since I was in the area, I brought a rabbit's foot to this dude, and in exchange, I have more luck all the time. From all the feet I had on my pocket, he had to take the golden one. Yay. But it's okay, because I got a lot of things I needed to donate from opening geodes today. Lucky. I also opened a few mystery boxes and found the mystery book. I donated 3 more things today. Not bad. I literally only need 1 more mineral to complete the museum. Since I was feeling lucky, I went to open more mystery boxes and got yet another auto petter. I know the spirits say unlucky, but I was feeling super good today. The raccoon family had a baby, and they asked for far way simpler things this time, thank goodness. Both Kent and Jody made sure to check on my new married lifestyle, and I spent the rest of the evening cooking like crazy again. One of the things I crafted today was an anvil. I am excited to give this a try. There are so many crops ready, but I am not picking them up for now because the season is almost over, and that way the field doesn't look hideous. I gave the raccoons what they wanted, and in return they gave me the raccoon hat. Very cute. Then I went to Skull Caverns to try to complete the dangerous version by getting to floor 100. This meant I could access radioactive ore. Now, I have played Skull Caverns before and I have gotten pretty good at it. I'm sure that this won't be as big of a challenge, right? But soon enough, I got a shaft that got me to floor 100. So I got the quest and also a cowboy hat. Rad. This little fella is stuck here for all eternity. Poor thing. The very next day, I messed up with my magic quiver by turning it slower. But hey, now I know how the anvil works, I guess. Since my slime egg hatched, I placed a new egg in that I have found on the mines yesterday. But other than that, I just did farm chores most of the day, including chores at Ginger Island. Look at all these fruits! Then I went to the volcano where I found a fairy.
She was a fairy.
But I decided I liked the quiver's protection more than I liked her healing. I was looking for as many teeth as I could, as well as the last walnut I needed from this chest. Then I remember a Spirit's Eve was happening. I unfortunately didn't have a way of just portaling there, so I stayed at the volcano today. Last day of the season. Started by selling a bunch of random things. The last day, it's a good day to cut all those tea saplings, since we can still sell them after getting all those tea leaves. And I did harvest everything, don't worry. I know this is kinda random, but I got my trash can upgraded today. I got a whole cabinet at the traveling cart today, because I like to get things to make our house a home. Then I went to Robin's to get a whole stable build. Poor girl can't catch a break with me. I spent the rest of the day clearing up the train station again. It had grown so much already. At home, I made even more tea saplings that I would sell for good money, and just chilled around the house until it was time to go to bed. I was tempted to stay home because it is so cold outside, but the farm was not going to take care of itself. I got a pomegranate from my tree that I would ship immediately. I made sure to put heaters and hay in the places that were needed, as well as making sure all doors were closed. I didn't want them to be chilly, and so we started preparing the large field for the season. It took me nearly all day, but I wanted to be productive this season. I don't know why, but decided to get a fairy flying around me today. I brought an iridium quality horseradish for Krobus for the day he hatched. Then I brought all of the pine cones I have ever made in my entire life to exchange them for powdered melon seeds. I got 156. Not a bad trade-off if you ask me. I also made sure to turn the powdered melons I already had into seeds. I planted some fiber seeds, cause it is another one thing that can grow during the winter. And I don't know why I felt the need to plant things in this pattern, but I did, alternating powdered melon seeds and fiber seeds. How do you like it? Because I knew it was going to be getting darker earlier in the day, and because I like to actually being able to see, I placed some torches on the sprinklers. Pretty cool, huh? I went to Ginger Island late at night and got a shrimp enthusiast shirt from a coconut tree. No, that's random. From Mr. Key's room, I got another Skull Cavern invasion. It was a challenge I liked, and it paid well, so why not? And since I had some gems to spend, I got myself Mr. Key's hat. That is one way of showing dominance. Day 198 can send me some bombs, which is completely normal. And I had a horse, so I obviously named him Shadowfax. Look at us go! I figured that if there was someone worthy of carrying my bow while I didn't use it, was him. So cute. But I prepared myself to go to the Skull Caverns today, with Monster Musk, in the dangerous versions. It went as you can imagine. Some of the floors were actually insane. And even though I was being swarmed, I got lots of goodies. Despite struggling all day, and there was much struggle, I made it to floor 100 exactly at 1 AM and got yet another cowboy hat, one that I already had. The next morning, my garlics and my rice were ready. I also placed a pressure nozzle in one of my greenhouse sprinklers so I could reach this additional row. So I planted more garlic. Oh, and also this sprinkler back because I wanted my coffee empire back soon. Did you know you can feed carrots to your horse now? I went to Robin's to get yet another shed build, cause I didn't want to have all my chests exposed anymore. That sounded weird. I also picked up my trash can and started working on my watering can. Probably the worst decision so far. I spent the day gifting around, trying to get to 10 hearts with everyone. I came to Mr. Key's room since I had some gems, and after a not so thorough consideration, I got Pierre's stock list and the recipe for heavy tappers. I think I could have done better, but oh well. I made sure to talk to Pierre about it though. Then I took some time to look at what powers I needed, what books, things to chip, minerals to the museum, dishes. Literally everything I still needed to learn or do. Since I still need some random fish for dishes, I crafted some magic bait to take care of those without waiting till their respective seasons. I fished in the ocean till my tackles wore out. Then I visited Marlon and Gil, and because we're besties now, they let me enter in their room to get my copy of Mapping Cave Systems, so that if Marlon wants to get anything rescued for me, it would cost less. I don't know why, if they had it all along, it only becomes effective until I read it, but it works. Back at home, I made more preserve jars and more kegs. We are getting so close to filling this hub, but because I was so distracted fixing my farm, I fell asleep at my doorstep. Day 200 was finally here. But before I talk about it, what the heck is this flooring, Sam? Now, this was supposed to be the last day, you know, with the 100-day strand and everything, but I figure that is dumb. Why finish on literally winter 4 when I can finish the season and try to get to 100%ing the game? And no, it is not just an excuse to have more time to get perfection, okay? I do this for the dear viewer, because you deserve to have full seasons without waiting. So, if you appreciate this little effort and you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any of my Stardew videos. Anyway, back to the grind. Oh, the last walnut I needed from here, yay! I came to the caldera today with some challenge bait, so I could catch as many iridium quality lava eels. Don't worry, this time I actually got all the ones I could. Then I did a volcano dive, because I needed still one more walnut from a chest. I'm an idiot though, because I did not bring my watering can, and of course that prevents me from getting to chests. I still work hard to get to floor 5 to get my own pair of Cindercloud shoes. They sound when I walk and I love it. I think I have problems. Sam called me baby, and I blushed. The next day, I fixed the atrocity he had done with the floor. The raccoons had another baby that had some interesting requests. I spent the rest of the day completing all quests and gifting around, and found my husband trying to do a flip. Good for him.
Don't flip! Yeah!
But I also made sure to stop at Ramen's to move the slime hutch of place, because silly me forgot I needed to do something in this area. After that, I also stopped at Marnie's to get the animal catalog, so I didn't have to wait for her ever again. Unlocking the achievement, well read. And also got a cat tree for Balrog. This is important too, okay? Since I was not going to use it, I gave Jazz one of my fairies. She loved it. And I finished the day trying to get those fish I would need for recipes. Day 202, I found a bunch of things ready to be harvested in my greenhouse, like fairy roses I needed for recipes and to chip, garlics for the oil of garlic, and many fruits from my trees. So I crafted more things I still needed, like the heavy tapper and some fairy dust. I stopped by Pierre's to get more garlic and also flower seeds I needed for the tub of flowers. Then I fished at the ocean some more, because I needed sardines. Can you believe that?
Sardines are super gross.
Then I moved to the river because I needed a sunfish and a rainbow trout. I had to use magic bait for this to work, but having a sonar bobber helped me too, to make things faster when I knew it was not the fish I needed. Sebastian then joined me, with the excuse that he wanted to smoke, but we all know that it was because he wanted to see me. Even though I fished all day, I didn't catch a rainbow trout. The next day I got some tea, which is good, because I finally completed this quest for my blobfish, those poor guys. I finally picked up my watering can and immediately used it, by planning what I thought was left for me to achieve perfection. So a rhubarb for the rhubarb pipe, a pumpkin for the jack-o'-lantern, and many more garlics. I then went to Ginger Island, because I was into getting that walnut from a chest. Oh, and getting more dragon teeth for the mini forge at home. The volcano was a challenge, as always. Like, I do not know what these enemies are made of, but oh gosh. Luckily, I did find a chest and the walnut I needed. Funny thing is that I actually found a second chest just a floor up. This one had a set of mermaid shoes that were so much better in stats than the ones I had just spent a little fortune on. But this matched my outfit a bit better. Also, where the heck is my hat? I didn't see why to keep suffering, so I teleported home, and then went back immediately. I wanted to gift Leo, but he was fast asleep. But at least I got a new clue. So I spent some time looking around trying to find it, since all my notes were already found, but I couldn't get it. I got to bed close to 1:30 a.m. But lucky me, Sam was waiting for me with a special proposal. Of course I said yes. I do not remember why or when I took off my hat, but today I put the iridium pan on because it is chilly willy outside. My greenhouse is really fruitful, so I placed some preservers in here to make fruit jam. I packed my slingshot with me and loaded it with some stones. I was planning to go to Ginger Island when I came across the Winter Festival. Dang, Granny, what's up?
Starts a conversation like that.
For some reason, I felt inspired to buy this dinner table. Pam tried to compensate from last year's loss. Well, it's a shame I fished away like the pro I am. Also, have you noticed that Haley has a camera? That's pretty cute. I catch a total of 7 fish and took home my big prize of a prize ticket. I think that the biggest reward was my new table though. I didn't have time to celebrate. I realized that the walnut I needed was probably the one I always leave for last, because I never, ever carry a slingshot. I'm just so bad at it I don't even try it anymore. Then I went to talk to the parrot to know where I can find my missing walnuts, and he was quiet. Despite all the harassment I violently put him through, what was I supposed to do now? Mr. Key's perfection tracker still said I was missing 9 walnuts. Where the heck were they? Oh, but since I was already here, I picked the Skull Cabin quest again. This is so, like, not important, but I finally had enough garlic for the oil of garlic. And today I finally did not forget like the dummy I am and planted those special powder melons with speed grow. Let's hope for the best. It was also harvest day at Ginger Island. This kept me busy a long time. I planted more ancient seeds and some more starfruit. I tried with the parrot again, but he remained quiet. I had a cutscene with Leo. All of his scenes melt my heart. Can I adopt him, please? Then I went to the caldera with some challenge bait. This is just good money, you know? Then I went to the volcano because I thought that maybe those walnuts were here. Plus, I also needed more dragon teeth. I worked till late and fought for my life. But no golden walnuts were found. And this sweet kid wished me good night. What a sweetheart. At this point, I was stressing about those walnuts. I don't know what golden nuts I'm missing. What golden walnuts I am missing. I didn't know where I was going to find them, or where should I even look. I did some more studying to see what other things could I work on, and then remember I still had void spirits to take care of. I found out that today floor 101 was infested, so I kept repeating that floor until I had sent all of Krobus's cousins back to Jova. The reward from that was a special ring that I find really cool, but I have other ones that I like better. I don't know why I came to the beach today, but I found some radioactive goggles. They don't actually protect you from radiation, but are pretty cool. Then at 8:30 p.m. I went to the desert. It was a dangerous mine, should I remind you. The truth is, I still have no idea why I decided to come today, but that doesn't mean I was not as productive as I could possibly be. And suffered, of course. Day 207, I finally completed another quest for the raccoons. They gave me some fairy dust as a reward. Then I headed to the desert. 1, to get yet another green turban. I need to keep track of my hats, because this one I already had bought. I had a magic rock candy and some monster musk, because I love the adrenaline.
I'm in danger!
It was until now that I made the comment in my recording of why I came yesterday. I needed to find and fight dinosaurs. The bad thing about wanting more dino enemies is that you also get more serpent enemies. The worst thing is that I was not finding any dinosaurs. A lot of bats though. Eventually I did complete the floor 100 quest. At the end of the day I had 37 radioactive ore, 280 something iridium, and even 3 whole prismatic shards. But I didn't get enough dinosaurs. Day 208 was the Squid Fest, which is a good thing because I needed a squid for a dish. And I also finally got that sardine I needed for another dish. So I went home to cook and I didn't realize I put those sardines in a chest. So when I tried to cook the dish of the sea, I couldn't. But I did cook the fried calamari. Then I went to Skull Cavern again. Nothing special happened really. I was just looking for more dinos, but did not find a single one. The next day, Sam had made me pancakes. I don't care that they are bugs. I love the kindness. I then came to the ocean to catch 1 sardine. So effective use of my time. But then moved to the river to catch a rainbow trout. I fished all day and not a single one bit. But hey, the dish of the sea has been cooked, finally! This is not important, but I also placed some sprinklers in the slime hutch so they would breed without thirst. Also, look at my struggle with the watering can, oh my gosh! Since it was late at night, I decided to finally acknowledge my newest shed and started moving things inside. It was a very fun process. This is how it looks for now.
I mean, it's alright.
The next day, the powder melons were ready, but not big enough. So I kept watering. I came to Ginger Island to spend some of my key gems on recipes. Back in the valley, I got a portrait of my sweet Sam, and I spent the rest of the day gifting around, including Harvey for his birthday. I did stop at the Hat Mouse to get a new hat, the blue ribbon, which I think it's my new absolute favorite. Look how cute it is from behind. I went to Marnie's to look for people to gift and was surprised to find blue chickens. Thanks, Chain. Thanks a lot. So since they are available, I had to get my own. Welcome, Primrose and Robin. But today was the day. I got myself the Return Scepter. Now I was going to be fast. I mean, check out how fast can I get to Ginger Island. And after staring at the parrot and gifting Leo, look how fast I was back at home. It was late, but I stopped at the saloon to complete 4 quests that I had been postponing, mostly involving fish. Trying to catch Demetrius, I triggered a cutscene with Maru. This one is so funny. I think she is so underrated. A cool thing about growing cactus fruit is that I can just gift it to Sam right away. It is starting to become dangerous in my slime hutch, but they are just starting to breed, so we'll keep going. Then I discovered that my doctor's yearly checkup is on winter 15, huh? Or is it just because you like me more now that I've been gifting you coffee almost every day, Harvey? I accepted the ginger collection quest from Caroline today because I really wanted the crafting recipe, but deep inside, I kinda knew I was not going to make it. I gifted today the people I still needed to get to 10 hearts with. When I went to visit Leo to gift him, I had yet another super wholesome, and a little weird, cutscene with Leo. He will be joining us in Stardew Valley, and I could not be happier to have him as my neighbor. And a little did you know, during this cutscene, the song Cloud Country starts playing, just as they talk about Leo's new beginning. And did you know that that is also the song that plays when you start a new save file?
Coincidence? I think not!
I started working on that ginger collection right away. I picked the Key Beans quest since it seemed better at the time, and checked on my perfection progress. Still a lot to do. I started finding beans right away. And I am still looking for the walnuts I might be missing. I heard that using a treasure totem might be a good strategy to find key beans, but I didn't find as many as I would have liked. I finally harvested some of the fiber and powder melons I had to plant those. Then off to the night market I went. I made sure to get my Lupini original, Clouds. It looks cute in the nursery, huh? Not me going through nesting even with a Stardew child. During the night, the parents worked in the cold to get Leo a new home. Day 212 was a great one, because we finally have our rhubarb and pumpkin. I made sure to craft and cook right away. When I entered the barn today, a new ostrich had hatched. Welcome, Elrond. So cute. When I entered the house, Sam was having a little bit of an existential crisis, but I am glad he is going back to what he loves. He also really liked the freshly made pie I made him. Back in town, the girls and Harvey were doing some Zumba. Oh, how I wish I could join them. Also, this song is a banger. And why are all of them wearing coats for aerobics? Look at my sweet Leo in his winter suit. Oh my. Clean was not working today, which is frustrating because I had loads of geos for him to open. Still looking for that mineral I need. Then I went to Skull Cavern looking for dinos again. I just want to get to 100% soon. And if you're wondering, I only found one dino. But when it was getting late, I teleported to my farm and then the beach. I didn't forget about my painting, no worries. And I got myself a suit of armor, why not? Then I replaced the paintings at home. I am running out of space to build things. The next day, I set up my fish chest in the shed, organized by ocean, river/lake, and caves, or miscellaneous. Pretty cute, huh? I found an animal cracker on the ground that I immediately gave to the British blobfish. I went to gift Rasmodius for his birthday an iridium quality purple mushroom, so now we are besties too. Look at all the ancient fruit that is being collected though, this is rad. While gathering ginger today, I had the parrots fix me yet another transportation system. Then I catch Clint, actually at work, and through some careful opening of geodes, we finally have the petrified slime, which is the only thing I needed for the museum. Oh my goodness. I even built a whole slime hutch just to get it, but finally I can rest, because not only do I have the complete collection achievement, but also the last star drop I needed. Oh, and I also found the dwarf gadget, which I needed for crafting. I then opened more gold mystery boxes in the pursuit of more autopetters. I was so close to getting things done. I needed to get that rainbow trout, but I did take a break to get the painting 3 trees. Then, after fishing for hours, I finally had the fish I needed, allowing me to cook the trout soup. Only one more dish to go. Luckily me, Sandy was still open after 10 p.m, so I could get more starfruit seeds. I made sure to plant them before going to bed. I did fix the field, no worries. Day 214, I harvested my first ever key fruits. Gotta make more seeds. And I know this probably only matters to me, but the last iridium sprinkler in the greenhouse has been placed. Then I went to the desert to trade my weekly magic raw candy and also get the recipe I still needed. Then I went to Ginger Island to stress about my walnuts, ginger, and more. I still had no luck, and the parrot would not talk to me. I promised you I'd trace back all my steps looking for them. I even played more rounds with the pirates to see if maybe I missed some, but no. Then I went looking to see Professor Snail, and for some dang reason, it still said collect rewards. Turns out I never actually picked them up after completing his quest. So I made sure to check, and indeed, I had now picked them all up. I'm sorry, Parrot, for harassing you so much. But hey, 77%? That's not bad. Back at home, I made some bluegrass and enough kegs to fill my shed, finally. The next day, I continued with the key production. Then I went to the mines looking for some bad wings for more monster musk. I know it looks silly, but it was to prepare for the dinos, okay? Then I went to the caldera with challenge bait because I had the blessing of waters. And since I was here, might as well look for dragon teeth, right? I just needed a few more. Also, just because I have been doing this for a while doesn't mean I am not suffering anymore. I have been working on the key quest every day, planting and regrowing the seeds, but I have to say I am not optimistic. Then I was back at the volcano. I was really lucky finding teeth today, but then when I had had enough, I went to the skull caverns with monster musk. Despite that, I only saw my first and only dino until almost midnight. Day 217, something cute happened. Because of the way I was positioned, it looked like Sam was kissing my belly. I completed a quest for the blobfish, again, and then saw the raccoons had another baby with a super easy request. Then I went about gifting those few people I still needed to gift. Have some hot coffee at the beach, you chicken legs. And guess what? The traveling cart had a rainbow trout, of course. Then I went to the volcano to get my very last dragon tooth. Finally, no excuse to come here anymore. And I was able to finally craft the mini forge. Late at night, I was working on my sheds and I was invested because I passed out at 2 a.m. And there, in the middle of my shed, I gave birth. Little Elmer had finally joined us. There he was, sleeping like a burrito. I put here that teddy I had found while hoeing the ground a few seasons ago. And Sam was ready to keep having kids, of course, since you were not the one birthing in the shed at 3 a.m. We are on the last week of winter. Can you believe that? With the help of Willie, Leo finally sent me the last recipe I needed to cook. But when I went inside, Sam stopped me to tell me he was getting a job to be in the Happy Junimo show. He didn't like it at first, but I made sure to encourage him. Then I got to cook a mango sticky rice and unlocked the achievement Gourmet Chef, one step closer to perfection. I planted more coffee seeds back in my greenhouse and then I went back home to tailor a hat with my ostrich egg. What do you think? Then I went gifting again. Man, Jazz, how much more do you want from me? Then I had a cutscene with Harvey that doesn't really make much sense, you know? Then I went to Skull Cavern again, looking for dinos. I was starting to lose it here. Are there no dinosaurs in this freaking game? The next day, I was still working on the key quest. You probably think I'm progressing. I am not. I went to his room to pick up the Skull Cavern invasion yet again. I had to go get more starfruit to cover for the harvest today. Made sure to complete the raccoon's quest today too, and got a whole tank as a reward. What did I do with it? Well, let's just say that my sweet froggies and Lewis's shorts have a new home. I stopped at Marlin's to check on how many dinos I needed to take care of still. Only 3. But since it was late already, I instead just went for the regular mines to look for bugs for a quest for Willie. They just explode with my powerful quiver, by the way. You know, I had my second thoughts about Sam before, when he said he felt lazy that day or he didn't know what he was going to do. But now that he's a stay-at-home dad, that's pretty hot, I will say. I still worked on Key's quest as much as I could. Then I headed to Skull Cavern. Not only did I need to survive the dangerous version of the mines, but I was also in the lookout for dinosaurs. I was struggling to find any, and honestly, just trying to stay alive. Literally. But I didn't lose anything, and it was just 8:30 p.m. So you know what that means. I went right back. I was determined to find those dinos. It wasn't easy, but I didn't give up. Unfortunately, I had to go home today without completing that goal. Because I worked too late, I passed out in my own room. Day 221, I was happy to check on the slimes and see that they had dropped a petrified slime. Just like 5 days later, but my slime tracks would like it. Key fruits have almost entirely taken over my field. Then I went to wait patiently for Leo. This was the moment of realization that I was probably not going to achieve perfection this year. I still had a few recipes I needed to craft, some relationships I still needed to max, and let's not forget about the golden clock. It was just sad because I felt like we got so close. So, not to feel so bad, I went to the Hat Mouse and bought the chef's hat. That compensates, right? The next day, I was at it again. I was lucky to find one dinosaur early on, and I found a chest that had a quiver just slightly better than the one I had, so it was a good upgrade. I fought valiantly for my life many times, until I found an entire dino floor. Finally, which meant I could complete the Monsters Lair goal, and also the Steam achievement, Protector of the Valley. I seriously do not know how after all these years of playing this game I still have achievements to get. I still needed to get to floor 100, so I kept diving. I got lots of goodies, and made it to floor 100 at 1:30 a.m. Unlocking the achievement, A Big Help, for completing so many quests. I still had some other ones to work on though. Day 223, there was a lot of key fruit to harvest, but I could not plant any more before the quest expired, so I just saved it. But there was also many ancient fruit to be harvested, and at Mr. Key's shop I got a bunch of recipes, while also trading the leftover walnuts I had. It looks like we're sitting at a solid 88% right now. Not bad. Because I knew the next season was upon us, I made sure to prepare the animal field with loads of bluegrass and brand new hardwood fences. I think it is looking so good. Okay, some of these are regular wood, but it still looks very good. When I went to the mountains, I finally saw Leo in his new house, and he loved the string cheese I gave him. I was up here because I wanted to make sure I planted enough trees before spring, so they would grow like crazy. We have made it into our last day. I can't believe how far we've come. We have made some huge accomplishments, but not a big powder melon, unfortunately. I do think that we are setting ourselves great for the next year, considering that the biggest challenge is probably going to be making money for the golden clock and all the hats we still need to get. I guess there is also the quest we still need to complete for recipes, but hey, at least we have a head start on key fruit, right? I stopped at Robin's to make some major organization in the farm and also made some house renovations, like adding a whole corner room, a southern room, and now my house is huge. But I also had her started on my cellar, because for some reason, that renovation takes days in comparison to adding all those rooms we just did. I gifted the dwarf, Emily a parrot egg that she obviously loved, and Leo for the last time before the year ended. I didn't make it to full hearts with them, but got really close, which means our perfection tracker does end at 88%. Only missing those friendships, the golden clock, and the recipes from the quest I didn't successfully complete. I then went home to check on the hat count I had. So, since it was my last day, I did what any good hat collector would do and visited my friend, the Hat Mouse, and added to my collection the bowler hat, the cool cap, the cowboy hat, mouse ears, cat ears, tiara, earmuffs, delicate bow, plum chapeau, pageboy cap, archer's cap, tropic clip, daisy, hunter's cap, trucker hat, sou'wester, eye patch, blue bonnet, chicken mask, and the goblin mask, which gives us a total of 73 hats so far. Not bad at all, less than 50 to go. I spent whatever was left of the day trying to arrange things and planning on how I was going to decorate this huge house. Good things were ahead of us. And nothing better to end the video than seeing Grandpa himself, who happily said that was proud of us. Oh, and I also got the legend achievement. You will be happy to hear that all his candles did light up. Just ignore the rest of the debris on the farm, okay? So this should do it. I am still behind on a few goals I have and unfortunately still have some ways to go to perfection. But this is good news, cause it only means I can get to all of that on my 3rd year of Stardew Valley. How about that? I will try not to take as long getting that part out. By the time you're watching this, I will already be working on it, so be sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Let me know down in the comments what was your favorite part, and if you have tips and tricks for my 3rd year, be sure to let me know so I can be super efficient. One more thing I wanted to say is that we have launched memberships. It comes with perks like being mentioned at the end of the videos, badges next to your name, and more. So if you feel like supporting the channel in a very special way, other than watching the videos, which is already a huge help, then consider joining. I always try to make it worth your while. But anyway, my name is Mrs Smuthy. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. Dun 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 dun.